Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. I'm here to talk about the rematch between Paulie Malignaggi and Juan the Baby Bull Diaz. And we did have Juan Diaz on the show. Make sure to check out Rope-A-Dope Radio every Wednesday. And for the after the fight coverage, the 12th and final round on blogtalkradio.com/Rope-A-Dope Radio. And actually, let's just get right into the fight. Obviously, it's a very controversial ending, scorecard-wise. Not ending, but the scorecards. I thought it was definitely a scorecard robbery, but I wouldn't say the decision was a robbery. When I first saw it, I have to admit, I thought it was either a draw or Juan Diaz won the fight. When I watched it again, I thought Paulie won the fight. I could see a draw. I could see if he had Diaz barely, but I could see more of Malignaggi in a tight fight or a draw. The thing is, it's really what you like to see and how you judge rounds, and that's the type of fight it was. Malignaggi, just starting with him, he looked great. He looked like the old Malignaggi and looked even better almost than the old Malignaggi. He actually outworked. He threw more punches than Diaz, which was a surprise to me. And he had that jab working. Now, whoops, that jab, it was working, right? But he threw that jab, and actually it's a left jab. He threw that jab, and he kind of land one, and then maybe land one on the gloves, and then kind of flick the other. But his hand speed is so much that a lot of people thought all the jabs, or most of the jabs, were landing. So I could see, just off the hand speed, it's hard to tell when Paulie's landing that jab and when it's just there for strategy. So I think that was a lot of people who had it like 9-3 and 8-4, and I even saw some 10-2s. I disagree with that. I thought it was a very tight fight, but I think maybe with Malignaggi, the movement was great. It was definitely old Paulie. He was throwing both hands, not as much as I'd like to see it. I think if he could, his improvement would be to be able to throw more combos and not just flick the jab as much as he did. Now, he landed plenty of jabs, don't get me wrong, and he landed some on the gloves. But, he could maybe bring that jab to the body. He could just, throw with more authority and then bring in the right hand. So overall, I think there's really not much improvement that he can do besides throwing a little more combos. But the movement, the defense, and the jab, and just overall, he looked great. Juan Diaz, and I think the jab is a big theme in this fight because I think, and like I said, we had him on the show, and I asked him this question. I didn't think he used the jab enough to counter Malignaggi's jab and to set up his other shots, and he was kind of leaping in too much, trying to get to Paulie, who was very elusive, and he agreed. So I see him using the jab more, going to the body just as much. And overall, I really think Juan Diaz's plan of attack will be better this time. You saw Diaz, he did land the cleaner, bigger punches. And we all know, a lot of people like to get into the CompuBox stuff to stat the punch stats. But, you hardly ever see to the body. The body shots being counted as much as up top shots. Even though the top shots might, a jab, a real fast jab may hit a glove, but they'll count that more than they will count to the body as much. So I think it's going to be another solid fight. I thought the first one was a really solid fight, tight fight, but I am going to go with Juan Diaz in the rematch. Like I said, I think he'll jab more, and I think he won't lunge in as much. And I think he'll slow the pace minorly. And not only that, but really, my question is, can Paulie look better than he did? I mean, if he can, wow, that's great, and he's going to make some noise at 140. But I don't think he can. I don't think he can. And that's the one thing about him. He's been inconsistent. So I'm banking on, if I had to put money on the fight, I'm going with Diaz in maybe even a split decision. Who knows? They're definitely going to be tight cards. I know that. There's not going to be any lopsided cards this time. Anyway, like I said, check out Rope-A-Dope Radio. We're going to have hopefully Paul Williams, hopefully Paulie Malignaggi here before their fights. We just had Mickey Bay Jr., R.A. Rugged Man, came on for a guest spot real quick yesterday on the show. And like I said, the After the Fight show, 12th and final round. Peace.